Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is S.S.Dieter and on today's video will be a baking video on how to make carrot cake from a box. So in today's video you'll need a lot of things, but I don't have the counter space to show you all. So once I make room, I'll show you the rest. So in the first section of this video, you need spray pan and parchment paper. You can use cake pan or any type of pan, like cupcakes and that. Spatula, your cake mix, a bowl. You can either use milk or water, or at least that's what the recipe says. For the liquid, and we're going to be using vegetable oil, measuring cup, and we're going to use a machine handheld mixer. You can mix by hand if you really want to. Takes a little bit longer, so I'm going to show you the fastest and easiest way. So first thing you do after you wash your hands, you open your package. Give me a minute to make my height here, or at least the desired height that I need. There we go. Actually, the first thing you actually need to do, you need to set your oven to 350. Now each oven is different on how they cook. So the first thing we're going to do is open the box. And then we're going to open the package. Now if you have a hard time opening this, sometimes you do and sometimes you don't, you can always grab a pair of scissors. Dump her in. Smells like there's cinnamon in it. I'm not too sure. And then what we're gonna do, so before we put the eggs in, we will put the milk and the oil in first. The best thing to do is just simply follow the instructions on the recipe. Anyways, it is asking for 1 cup of water or milk. Like I said, we're going to use the milk. And what we're going to do is we're just going to pour the milk until we hit 1 cup. And I've used Silk Almond Original. You can use any type of milk that you like to use, or water. And then it's calling for 2/3 cup of vegetable oil, which we have. And again, we're just going to pour until we get 2/3. So for people with measuring cups that don't really know how to read them, 1 cup is right here, and then 2/3 is under. Now my cup does not have a half a cup section, so the half a cup should be around this line right here. give or take. Another thing that will come quite in handy is also know how big your cake pan is, to tell you the truth. So once we have the oil, vegetable oil, the water or the milk, whichever one you prefer, we're going to put the 3 eggs in this measuring cup to make sure that we don't have any shells. That goes into the cake. Then we will need a fork. Then it's back to the cake. You will need a fork, and what we're going to do is we're just going to whisk this stuff so that way it's easier to mix in the mixing bowl. I'm just going to wash my hands from the eggs. And then from there, we'll need the spatula. And the handheld mix blender. They're fairly easy to use. You just plug it in, and then you just put the mixture in. 0, 2, 4, and 6. 2 being the lowest, 4 being the obviously middle, and 6 being full power. We're going to mix at 2. So that way it doesn't really cause a giant mess. But that will take a couple of rounds. Do not lift this up while it's on. Trust me on this, you'll just make a big mess in the kitchen, against the walls. Unless you like cleaning, then be my guest. So as you can tell, I have the mixer right above the bowl, just in case it drips. That is for the best. Not too bad. We'll mix it just a little bit longer, just to make sure. Again, we'll have it at 2. Oh, my mistake. There is actually 1, 3, and 5 on this thing as well. I did not see that. Oh, look at that. Learned something new on my machine. So we'll actually have it at power 1. At the lowest power. There is something in the cake that I don't want in there. What is that? Piece of crumb of something. So that is why you want to wash your hands, just in case something like that happens. Again, we'll put the power on just to mix it just for a little bit longer. Once I get that powder chunk into the bowl. You can tell it's fairly easy to make cakes or anything really from the box because it already has all of your dry ingredients in it. All you have to do is add the wet ones. Now you'll want to hold your bowl while it is mixing. I was just trying to show you guys the process of it. It's easier to control the bowl and the mixture when the bowl is being held and the mixer is being held. And that looks to be good. Then we'll just scrape this off. And then from there, we will just pull these off. Now some of the mixtures actually has a button on there so that way you can pull it off. This one does not. And then from there we will use either our parchment paper or our spray. I'm going to use the non-stick spray. With parchment paper it's similar. You just do your measurements. Anyways, with parchment paper, you just pull the parchment out, measure it in here. Now you can either cut the shape of the roundness and then do another piece for above, or you can make one big batch and just fold it in. But with me, I'm gonna, again, it's up to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the non-stick cooking spray. So all you do is, you can shake it if you want to. I recommend if you haven't used it in a while. Is aim, squeeze, and spray. Now it's best to have locks on, because sometimes the cake, specifically on the edges, if you have a rectangle cake, that might be too much. However, it will come out easier. So then from there, we are going to put this cake batter into the cake pan. And then it should look something like this. And then to help prevent air bubbles, you just bang it a little bit. Now we're gonna put it into the oven. Again, I don't know what size my cake pan is, so we'll just take a look at the sizes, because you will definitely need a timer on. So we're going to put this in the oven, and we're going to start by putting it on the lowest time. and just keep an eye on it from there. So we're going to start at 26 minutes. And we'll just check on the cake in 26 minutes and we'll poke it with a fork. So I turned off the buzzer. We're just gonna check on the cake. So as you can tell, the cake has risen quite a bit. So we're gonna pull it out of the oven. Or maybe not. It's still too runny. And I'll show you what I mean. So even though it looks done, but watch what happens when I move it. So when you see it moving like that, it is not done. It is still really, really runny on the inside. So we're going to put the timer on for 5 minutes and see what we get. Whoops, too long. And we'll just check back on it then. Buzzer just went off once more. We're gonna just see if we can top looks done. I'm gonna pull it out and we're gonna poke it with a fork to see what the inside looks like. So the poking, you'll want to poke the middle basically. And you shouldn't see any residue. So there is still residue left, which means the cake is not quite ready. So we're gonna put it back in the oven. I probably could have lowered this just a little bit. But it should be okay. And we are going to put it on 4 minutes this time because it's on the other side. And then we'll come back and check on it then. So the buzzer went off. We're going to just check on the cake once more. It smells like it's done. Does not mean it is. It's not moving, so I say that's a good sign. And we're going to poke it once more with a clean fork. And as you can tell, it is still not done. So we're going to put it back into the oven. Actually, I'm going to just lower this by 1 to see that makes a difference. Because this top is clearly done, but the inside is not. So I'm going to have it lower to the heat. So now we're going to put on for 5 minutes. It's really close to being done, so this is where you gotta start guessing the time. I'm going to guess 5 minutes. I will check on it in a couple of minutes to see if anything has changed. And if not, it will stay in the oven until the buzzer goes off. Buzzer went off, and we're going to check on the cake. And we are done. The cake is done. So now we just need to let it cool down for 10 minutes in its cake pan. Once the 10 minutes are up, I'll put it onto the cooling rack. And then from there, you can actually put it into the fridge to let it cool down faster, which will then cool down within a half an hour to an hour. Then it will be cool enough for you to ice it with cream cheese. And when that time comes, you will need your icing spreaders. The proper name is tip of my tongue. So it's just been a while since I last used these things. Anyways, these are the objects you use to spread the icing if you really don't want to mess. And then we'll use, to help us out, we'll use this cake decorator plate. You will also need a plate on top of it. And to store it, we'll use this container when it's all done. We'll come back and check on the cake in about 9 minutes.